I have the first obvious question. Why is it that you're running for a second time for one of the most difficult jobs any person could have asked on earth?
I'm running for a second time, in many ways, for the same reasons I ran the first time, because I believe that there are things that need to be said and there are changes that need to be effectuated. Um, I believed them 4 years ago, and if anything, they are even more true today.
And it's very profound that, 4 years ago we thought we were going to be in a pivotal moment for the better, and it seems that, as you say, it's beginning to be more and more a dangerous time indeed, and more a pivotal moment where we need more leadership. And in one of your campaigns, Marianne, you quoted John F. Kennedy saying that we're materially rich yet spiritually poor, and that was very profound to hear. What are some of the signs or indicators that suggest our society is lacking in spiritual fulfillment and connection? And how do you envision integrating spirituality and a sense of collective responsibility into your political platform to address the challenges facing our nation today?
Spirituality is simply the path of the heart. And everything we do in life should be filled with heart. It should be guided by ethics. It should be guided by our concern for one another, for our children, for future generations, for the earth. We should be filled with reverence. This is what it means to be a person who is centered in a spiritual life, whether people contextualize it that way or not. My contention here is that public policy should also be centered in ethics and goodness. You know, Adam Smith, the primary architect of free market capitalism, said it cannot exist outside an ethical context. We have allowed forces to carve out economics from any sense of moral responsibility. And this has had a devastating effect on our country. We have allowed the idea that the corporation's only responsibility is its fiduciary responsibility to its own stockholders, to take precedence over safety, health, well-being of people and of planet. It has moved a massive $50 trillion into the hands of anywhere from 1 to 10% of our people, to the point where the majority of Americans live in economic struggle. That should not be happening, and it is unnecessary for it to be happening in the richest country in the world. If we continue down the lane of status quo politics, it has now become baked into the cake. You go there in an extreme way with the policies of the current GOP, with the policies of the corporatist establishment Democrats. You try to help people where you can, but you still refuse to break out of a system that will not challenge the underlying corporate forces that make the continuation of all this suffering inevitable. So yes, I give the president credit where credit is due, but he is taking incremental approaches to healing the fundamental devastation of millions and millions and millions of people, because he won't go past the point where it might upset the insurance companies, the pharmaceutical companies, the gun manufacturers, the big food companies, the big chemical companies, the big agriculture companies, big oil companies, or defense contractors. If you're only willing to help people within the narrative or within the context where you don't insult those whose tyranny is hurting the people, then how much are you really helping people? And I believe that there are people on the both left and the right in this country who have awakened to this. And if you want to win in 2024, you name that. You stop pussyfooting around it. You actually offer people a new economic beginning, an economic U-turn. And that is what I will do, not only to beat the Republicans in 2024, but probably even more importantly, to start turning this country around so that our democracy and our middle class become vital once again.
Wow, thank you for that answer. And you mentioned a lot of themes that we will have time to cover. And one of those was that it's moral responsibility, right? You mentioned in one of your campaign events that the presidency is more than just leadership. It's a moral role. It's a moral responsibility. So I really appreciate you saying that.